Hey everyone! In case you missed it, this is the Too Long Didn't Read, where I share a roundup of everything happening in our Flow ecosystem. My name is Carol, and I'm your friendly neighborhood community manager for Flow. If you're ready, then let's just jump in. First up, a bit of sustainability news. Did you know that minting an NFT on Flow uses less energy than a Google search? Deloitte Canada verified that Flow only uses 0.18 gigawatts per hour annually, an industry-leading figure thanks to the proof-of-stake multi-node architecture Flow is built with. At Flow, we're committed to an inclusive and representative Web3 ecosystem. So we're rolling out educational programs, partnerships, and a developer grant in honor of Black History Month. We are now taking applications for our $1 million Flow token grant. Black developers, platforms, and creators looking to build on Flow are encouraged to apply today. Applications are open through March 31st. We also have some great events and opportunities to share, one of which was the Black Women on Boards, SWOPES, and Versus collaboration last week. We are also partnering with Decentology for their Fast Forward 2 workshop, and are partnering with Black NFT Art for their NFT Web3 event series in Atlanta, beginning February 21st. It's GOAT time! The Goated Goats team launched our first drop, a voucher pack giving collectors one base goat as well as a trait pack to customize it. If you haven't checked out their unforgettable PFP project yet, check them out on social media at Goated Goats. Then head over to their homepage to reserve your very own goat today. Now the news you've all been waiting for from the Chainmonsters team. Their monster taming game is now live for both iOS and Android devices. If you're ready to hunt some monsters in a player-driven MMO experience, get started on your chain monster journey today. The game is still in closed beta, but you can still get access by buying a beta key or by winning a key from one of the B-Side Games giveaways. So that's it, folks. Don't forget to tune in to our office hours now on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we join the Flow team for AMAs, updates, and more. Until then, see you on the next TLDR. Bye. Hey everyone! In case you missed it, this is the Too Long Didn't Read, where I share a roundup of everything happening in our Flow ecosystem. My name is Carol, and I'm your friendly neighborhood community manager for Flow. If you're ready, then let's just jump in. First up, a bit of sustainability news. Did you know that minting an NFT on Flow uses less energy than a Google search? Deloitte Canada verified that Flow only uses 0.18 gigawatts per hour annually, an industry-leading figure thanks to the proof-of-stake multi-node architecture Flow is built with. At Flow, we're committed to an inclusive and representative Web3 ecosystem. So we're rolling out educational programs, partnerships, and a developer grant in honor of Black History Month. We are now taking applications for our $1 million Flow token grant. Black developers, platforms, and creators looking to build on Flow are encouraged to apply today. Applications are open through March 31st. We also have some great events and opportunities to share, one of which was the Black Women on Boards, SWOPES, and Versus collaboration last week. We are also partnering with Decentology for their Fast Forward 2 workshop, and are partnering with Black NFT Art for their NFT Web3 event series in Atlanta, beginning February 21st. It's GOAT time! The Goated Goats team launched our first drop, a voucher pack giving collectors one base goat as well as a trait pack to customize it. If you haven't checked out their unforgettable PFP project yet, check them out on social media at Goated Goats. Then head over to their homepage to reserve your very own goat today. Now the news you've all been waiting for from the Chainmonsters team. Their monster taming game is now live for both iOS and Android devices. If you're ready to hunt some monsters in a player-driven MMO experience, get started on your chain monster journey today. The game is still in closed beta, but you can still get access by buying a beta key or by winning a key from one of the B-Side Games giveaways. So that's it, folks. Don't forget to tune in to our office hours now on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we join the Flow team for AMAs, updates, and more. Until then, see you on the next TLDR. Bye. Hey everyone! In case you missed it, this is the Too Long Didn't Read, where I share a roundup of everything happening in our Flow ecosystem. My name is Carol, and I'm your friendly neighborhood community manager for Flow. If you're ready, then let's just
All right. Welcome, everyone, to this week's Office Hours. I'm by now your usual host, Andrea. And if this is your first time at Office Hours, I want to welcome you. If you're watching us from Twitter, YouTube, what's the other one? Twitch, or if you're watching this after the fact, feel free to join us on Discord starting from this week every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Office hours are just a time where we get together as a community and answer questions, discuss cool projects, and just talk about all things flow. So, welcome again to this week's Office Hours. And before we start, I just want to quickly introduce people from the Flow team that are in the call. And rather than have everyone unmute and talk, I'm just going to go quickly and kind of give you the rundown of everyone that usually attends these office hours. Keep in mind, what you're seeing on screen here is a fake Jamboard, and we share that in the text chat of the office hours. So if you want to look up, the specific people behind, for example, the Flow client library or our Cadence experts, then you can just consult that fig Jamboard if you missed it. But high level, we have the dev advocados, represented by the avocado cat or the avocat, and it's Kim, Bruno, and myself. Then we have the community managers, Carol and Trey. We have our Cadence, smart contracts engineers and experts, Josh and Bastian. Flow client library and SDK engineers, Greg, Chase, James, Max, Gregor, aka Side Ninja, and Yanez. Then we have our DevX team, who are responsible for building a lot of the tools. Shrinjoy, who's a product manager, Mac, Pete, and special guest today is also Morton, who recently joined as VP of Dev Experience. Morton, do you just want to say hi real quick?
Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be here. Feel free to hit me up for any questions or anything.
We actually already have a question for you, Morton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you speak any Nordic languages?
Yeah, I speak Danish.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And solutions engineering, a veteran of the office hours and ex-host Albert. So solutions engineer, always working with partners, and from product marketing, David O. Last but definitely not least. Cool. All right. So let's get into the agenda for today. We have a couple project spotlights from Chainmonsters and Goated Goats. Some cool demos as well. Then we're gonna talk briefly about flips and what they are and how you can contribute. And Josh is gonna talk us through that. Then I wanted to cover a couple smaller points, but definitely just as important, which is Lagit's TypeScript library that he's working on, or like TypeScript PR that he's working on for FCL, as well as Emerald Academy that just announced their bootcamp, since we always get requests for beginner bootcamps and workshops. And then we're gonna close things off with community highlights, as the usual. Cool. So I would say let's get right into it then. So how about we start with Chainmonsters by Cinetech of B-Side Games. Max, do you want to take it away?
Hi everyone, I'm Max, creative director of Chainmonsters and of B-Side Games. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been in the flow space for quite a while, and B-Side Games has been building on flow since the very beginnings actually. And today we had this week we had some milestones to celebrate. So I would like to tell you a little bit about it. I'm going to start off actually by showing you what Chainmonsters is about. And let me quickly share my screen. Let's go here. This looks good. Yeah, I just started my screen sharing. Feel free to click on my my Discord name to join the stream, because I'm going to showcase a few things. So first of all, Chainmonsters itself is like a massive multiplayer online RPG inspired by Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, and some other pretty important titles, like for example Genshin Impact. You basically control like your own avatar. In this case, I'm currently like a young man in this case, and in the world you will find the interesting creatures called Chainmonsters. You can see a few of them over here, and your goal is to pretty much catch them, train them, upgrade their strength, and of course compete with other players. And the most important functionality of Flow, of course, in our case, is to ensure some the scarcity, to have a transparent way of knowing, hey, if I have like a very specific Chainmonster, for example, this Honita in front of me, then what's like their mint number, what's like their stats, etc. Everything is then provable and transparent on Flow blockchain, because these are all of them are NFTs basically. In general, we are currently in a closed beta stage. So what you can see right here is all, of course, still work in progress. I'm not sure if you can hear the music in the background, but it's definitely worth it to check out the game yourself, which you can do through chainmonsters.com. This Monday we actually launched the mobile versions for iOS and Android, which is a little bit limited in size. So if you want to get in on the game on iOS, for example, there are only 10,000 spots through test flight, and you can check it out. In general, what you can do here in this like early preview of the game is a couple of things. First of all, you do have your squad of Chainmonsters. In this case, I only have 2 on this test account. Of course, everything you see is still work in progress, but you can see I have like a chip leaf Chainmonster, which is one of our main Chainmonsters in the game. Has the following kind of stats, which are the primary stats. There are also some secondary stats, and there's lots of detail there and some depth, which you might want to discover on your own terms. But in general, even though this is like a pretty early version of the game, and again, the access is currently closed to a limited number of people, but you can still get in. You can basically gather resources, like for example, you can gather coins. There are some flowers in the game that you can collect, and some chests and other collectible stuff. They basically contain resources. And if I go to my inventory, for example, I can see there's like a wide variety of different resources. For example, gemstones, flowers, but also some specific berries. And what you can do with them is pretty simple. You catch your Chainmonsters, you level them up either through battling or through the spending of resources. In this case, I do not have any candies. If I had explored the whole map, I would have like a pretty good inventory. And the most important thing to consider here in this, oh, by the way, there's like a different player who's currently battling a chip leaf down there, I can see. But basically what it boils down to is, even though this is like a pretty early build of the game with like a limited world and size, you keep everything you do, your whole progress, like your Chainmonsters you catch, that you upgrade and train, as well as your whole inventory you gather during your playtime, basically forever. So when we eventually transition into open beta at the end of the year, you will have like you're not able to progress indefinitely, but we have set, for example, you can level to level 20 with each of your Chainmonsters. You can upgrade them to potential level 1 and 2, and yeah, you can pretty much try out all the mechanics. I guess the last thing I would like to show you quickly is, and again, you should probably check out the website, go to our Discord and talk to our community. But one of the most important things about this game is, of course, the connection to the NFTs on Flow. And in the current version, we have items that you can currently earn through playing the game. We have a so-called season pass. You have 50 different tiers. You have like different objects like additional currency, some essences that you need to upgrade for your Chainmonsters, for example, some gear items as well that you can later on put onto your Chainmonsters, for example, like the sugar cubes, when held in battle, your Chainmon restores a few HP after it survives an attack. This could be pretty interesting down the line. You also get some stuff like a cookie, for example, also gear item, some additional coins. And it's actually important to note down, this season pass is contains like a free version and like a premium version. You can see that I've unlocked quite a few, like 46 tiers already. So I'm at level 46 out of 50. So I have some. If I play some more, if I gain some more experience and do my daily quests, I can unlock the full season pass. But if you don't have the premium season pass, if you don't, which I already have on this account, then you won't be able to unlock all of the NFTs. But we have made enough NFTs available for everyone. So if you got like a closed beta access key through a giveaway, through Flowverse or any of the other community partners, then you can download the game for free and unlock all of those NFTs or items marked as free, actually for free, so you don't have to do anything. And once you have those NFTs unlocked, you can see there's like a claim button on those three. I'm just going to claim them all. I can now go to the website, and this is now a very important second step, because this is, of course, the game, right? The game executable. I don't want to challenge the player. So if I'm in the game here, I click on Redeem NFTs, and this is now actually going to put me to our website, which I'm now going to share with you quickly. Let's see. Yeah, so now my screen should show the Champs website. So I just claimed them in game, as you can see. So now I refresh here, and what I can see is basically this is my game account, this is my wallet here in this case, and I'm able to claim 3 NFTs I just unlocked through the season pass. Of course, I can choose a different wallet, but I want to do it here. So I click on claim NFTs, and they're going to be like a pop-up through Blockdo, because of course Blockdo is supported through everything here. You can see the script that is going to be executed. Everything is in here, as you may know from other services. And now, okay, well, in this case, because of the incognito window, Blockdo has lost the. 1 second, I'm going to change my windows quickly. Let's go back to the game. Hold on, I need to log in again. Sometimes if you're like on incognito window, it will disconnect you from the Blockdo service, and now I need to log in again, but it's going to be resolved pretty quickly. Verification code. All right. So now I'm going to go back to screen sharing. Yeah. Now I should be able to see my account again. I click on claim NFTs again. I want to send the transaction. Now there's a weird error, probably because of the way I had to log in again. 1 second. Okay. This is not supposed to happen, but just imagine I would have just minted them in the transaction, and then they would show up in my inventory here. And you can basically see I have lots of NFTs because this is in part one of our distribution accounts. But yeah, they should basically show up here in the inventory. And then you can go to the marketplace and actually either sell them to other players directly, or you can browse all the listings and yeah, basically get anything you want. And the minting system, which was supposed to work, let me just actually try to trigger it again. Yeah, no, it's currently not working because of the this is actually one of the security steps. There's a timeout, I think, right now. So yeah, but anyway, so it's supposed to work like this, and it works usually fine if you're not using like an incognito window with Blockdo. Let's go back to the game quickly. But yeah, so the basic idea is that during this like closed beta testing phase, you can try out the game, you can do daily quests, which give you experience and coins and everything. And you also unlock some limited NFTs through the season pass. this season pass is going to last until April 15th, I believe. So there's like still plenty of time left to unlock, even if you're just starting today to unlock the whole pass. If you don't want to wait, you can also technically purchase like those tiers with our premium currency, but that's actually not required, especially as we have the double XP event currently, where you gain double XP for every of those quests you do every single day. So that's good to know. Yeah, I guess that's it from my side for now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess the last thing to mention again is that the mobile versions, they were just launched on Monday. Yeah, so the game is now available on PC, Mac, iOS, and Android. And you can play with the same account on all platforms using the same your same account, basically completely cross-platform. You can there are a few different servers depending on your region. So if you're like in the United States, you might want to choose one of the US servers. But yeah, that's it for now.
Thanks, Max. That was really cool, and congrats on the game. The graphics look amazing, and very much in line with the inspiration that you mentioned. We have a couple questions that maybe we can get to, and then we can keep the rest for when we go into breakout rooms. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So for Max at Chainmonsters, what game engine did you use?
We're using the Unity game engine, but as always, it's like everything. The game engine itself is just like a small part of the whole whole calculation, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. And for the Chainmonsters game, do you have any plans for marketing and different from closed beta and open beta?
Yes, there are actually going to be some changes in the way we are communicating and marketing the game, because right now it's like only accessible to like a handful of users, those that supported us in our Kickstarter back in 2020 and our Genesis sale last year. And now we are distributing some additional closed beta access keys to the community, but there's actually going to be some changes coming to this whole like schedule and those closed beta phases, which we're going to communicate very soon. So best case, join our Discord and join our newsletter on the website to stay up to date with those changes.
Awesome. And last one before we move on, do you have such an incredible variety of NFTs? Do you have them grouped under NFT contracts, so one contract for each group of type, or how did you organize your NFT collection on the Cadence side?
Yes. So we actually currently we have like a couple of contracts on Flow mainnet. One of them is the Chainmonsters rewards contract. If we actually have everything from our smart contract side completely public on GitHub, I'm going to send a link in the office hours channel. So if anyone wants to take a look at how we did certain things, feel free to check it out. In general, the basic idea is that similar to like, for example, Top Shot, we do have specific like series or like seasons. So for example, for our Genesis drop last year, we had like a Genesis season or series. So NFTs and rewards only, or NFTs that were only existed during that period, were locked up in that season, and they cannot be extended. So right now we have the closed beta season where we have set up those, I think 25 NFTs in itself, and there are like a couple of in-game items that you also unlock over time. Those are all set up in this like reward structure, which is all connected to a current season. So it's actually pretty similar to Top Shot for those who are like familiar with the Top Shot way of dealing with scarcity and different kinds of like NFTs. Just because when we started on Flow, Top Shot was the only reference we had. So that's the way to do it right now.
Got it. Thanks, Max. And if other questions trickle in, we can answer them once we go into breakout rooms. We're going to keep this room for questions related to the demos and the project spotlights. Thanks again. Cool. All right. Let's move on to our second project spotlight, Goated Goats, with the CEO of Graphel, Ryan. Do you want to take it away?
Yeah. How's it going, everyone? So yeah, we decided to create a PFP project that exists kind of as like the connective tissue and a really good use case of like Graphel and the kind of power of what we're building with our V2, which is a full relational graphing of both testnet and mainnet, which we're gonna basically plug that in and see how we can like build a lot more collaboration and support between projects on Flow and yeah, that's kind of where the idea initially spawned. A good friend of mine, he's a large YouTuber. The artist is not announced yet. He has 5 million subscribers. He's in the animation space, and he wanted to get into NFT projects. And we kind of brought him onto Flow, and he liked the idea of it. So we kind of started moving forward. And we wanted to switch it up. So we call ourselves like a living generative art project where we actually, you're actually able to change all of the traits on your goat. So you'll have a base goat that literally has no eyes or no mouth. Everyone will get a default set of eyes and mouth. And then you will also get like trait packs. Right now, the current sale is for one base goat voucher and one trait pack voucher. And that'll have it'll have a set amount, but random traits inside of it. And then you can actually equip those to your goat. And that's going to introduce some interesting mechanics around rarity and kind of tracking that aspect. As also, the traits are basically going to be staked. It's going to be like a staking and burn mechanic, and we're working on the kind of finalization of what that's going to look like. But right now, we're actually pushing towards a March 7th reveal, redemption, and kind of like broader launch date. Right now, you're kind of getting in early and getting the vouchers are kind of like the pre-sale. So yeah, like they said, I am the founder of Graphel as well as Goated Goats. The We chose to go Flow only, so we're Blockdo. We are not Meet Dapper. Just kind of wanted to continue to push that side of things, and bring more interest around the token and just in general, operate. I always admired Flovitar for doing that in the projects before them, but specifically pretty close with Luca. They use Graphel and just really admired that. We were like, yeah, we're definitely going this route. And we also wanted to make it so that our secondary marketplace was using the native token as well. But yeah, I think one of the really interesting parts here is like our whole like ideology behind this is incentivization through action. So bringing value to people who take action on the chain and in projects elsewhere. So it's not just going to be about interacting with Goated Goats in our platform, but let's say you buy a baller or one of the partnerships that we're currently discussing or actively have. Like for example, we use Schwab to do our first, I think, 1,500 pack sales. And through using Schwab, one, you get exposed to the platform, and two, we're supporting a project, and then three, you also get incentivized to do that. So you get a special role which qualifies you for the first airdrop. So the whole idea behind it is to expose people to what's on Flow and reward them for participating and using those platforms. It just so happens that Amit and Zeta Codes is our technical, our smart contract partner. So it kind of just made sense from all, kind of all fronts. But yeah, we're currently, like I said, in pre-sale, so you can go and grab a voucher for 35 Flow gets you a base coat voucher and a trait pack voucher, and then March 7th you'll have your reveal redemption, and you'll be able to actually customize your goat at that point. So super excited to see, because that's kind of our like jumping off point, I guess you could say, and then everything after that is candidly where I get super excited. So we're also working with like Emerald City, pretty much everybody. Just by nature of running Graphel and being an infrastructure provider, we get a lot of warm introductions. So super excited for the future of this, and yeah, hopefully I see a lot of goats in here.
Thanks. Wow, that was really great news that you're going flow only. I totally agree with the sentiment that you kind of outlined. I think I was looking at the Slido, we have one comment that I think resonates really well as well, which is one thing that's great about the flow community is the collaboration, and Graphel is enabling a lot of that. Big props. So not really a question, but
Yeah.
definitely a valid comment. And having, yeah, worked with a lot of different partners, it's amazing to see how they all collaborate together, right? And I'm sure you also witnessed this a lot from your end, as you said, you have a lot of warm introductions.
hmm
Um, what do you think makes Flow? What do you think makes the Flow community so collaborative?
Yeah, I think we're onboarding a lot of new people in a gentle way, but also in a way where we're not afraid to like share information or give somebody else alpha. Like there's a collective mind, I think, of sharing knowledge, and you don't see that a lot on other chains. Candidly, I've flipped hundreds and hundreds of ETH and NFTs over there, and there I never joined a Discord and I never participated in anything. So it just made all the sense in the world to build over here on Flow, because the second you join Neo or Finder versus Flowvatar, like you get a warm welcome, and your questions are answered not by people that are actually leading the project, because they're usually heads down busy building, but by other people in the community, that care enough to help kind of onboard these next people. So I think just from that perspective, like the ecosystem and the greater community that's supporting it also, they're willing to put in the work to get more people here, and that's I really think that network effect is extremely strong.
I totally agree. Um, Before we move on, there's a very applicable question, which is, can you explain Graphel?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my foot in the door. I think we started building a year ago, roughly January or February of 2021. So that's always like the main like centrifuge for all of this, or kind of where it started. So Graphel is an event indexer or aggregator, I guess you could say, where right now we're currently in V1 deployed. If you want to get access, just go to graphel.io and fill out our form, and then a guy named Mike will be following up with you to set up an initial call. But essentially, what we allow you to do in V1 is you create a project, and then you create what we call event indexer settings. And those are mapped to one of your events that your smart contract submits. So what we do is there's three ways to get your data. The first way, we store it and we give it access. We give you access through the search API, which is just a REST API. The second way is actually webhooks. So we push you the data, and that actually allows you to store it and build your own database and APIs on top of that. And then the last one is a front end integration that actually allows you to live stream those events directly through WebSockets, essentially. So that's our V1. Soon there will be, I guess this is a little like precursor to what's coming out, but we have our V2 very close on the horizon, which is a full relational graphing of both testnet and mainnet, which actually will show you basically the relationship or the interaction between peer to peer with respect to a smart contract, as well as everyone that's interacted with that smart contract or that event. So very powerful updates coming out. And yeah, I think we're going to be enabling a whole lot more teams when our V2 is out. Currently, though, just for perspective, there's about 70 people building with us right now.
Wow, awesome. Including me.
Yep.
Cool. And you also mentioned Schwab. Do you also want to give like a very quick mention of what Schwab is, just for people
Yeah. So
who
it's
don't
an
know?
NFT trading platform. They also have, you see that little card in the bottom left corner of that photo to the right. That actually is I believe it's called a Schwab Pass. And it's essentially connected to Schmoes, which is an NFT project coming out. And it just made sense for us to partner with them. Our smart contract team is the ones building Schwab, and it's actually a way you can trade NFTs, and they support a lot of contracts already. And it's a very convenient way to trade them either for Flow or FUSD, or actually other NFTs on Flow. So we did the first, I think, 1,500 through Schwab, which was about 900 transactions. And we were actually the deal set up basically so that we pay both sides of the fee, and it was a way for us to support and expose people to a new technology built on Flow. And that's kind of the driving principle behind everything that we do, especially with Goated Goats, is you're taking the action to find out which swap is, complete a trade, actually go on the site, interact with it, and we're going to reward you for that.
Super cool. Thanks. Last question for you that just came in, and maybe it might be too early, but what will Graphle's fee structure look like in the future?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think right now, our biggest objective is to continue to grow the ecosystem and to create a very strong, developer experience, while also, making your time to mainnet a lot faster and easier. So breaking down technical barriers while also, handling problems at scale. It's a very interesting dynamic to solve both sides. I think we do it exceptionally well. And with V2, I think it's only going to, emphasize that. Currently, with where we're at, there's no, fee structure in place. We have very strategic investors, AppWorks, Animoca Brands, as well as Dapper Labs themselves. And we were tasked with helping grow the developer ecosystem. And that's our current focus right now, rather than, turning on monetization.
Makes sense. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. And if people have questions, feel free to add them to the Slido. Just in the interest of time, I'm just going to go through a couple more topics. Then we'll go into breakouts, and this specific breakout room. So like this current voice channel, we can continue to answer questions around Chainmonsters and Goated Goats. So before we go to that phase, I wanted to talk briefly about flips. And for that, we have our very own Josh. Josh, do you want to talk a little bit about flips and how people from the community can contribute?
Yeah. So, hey everyone, I'm Josh. I'm a smart contract engineer on the Flow team. And like Andre said, we're going to talk about flips. And they're the cool things you're seeing in the Olympics nowadays. They're much more exciting and much more dangerous. So basically, a flip is a flow improvement proposal. And it's kind of what we do to propose new features for Flow, kind of more like high level features for Flow that we could potentially add in the future. So I'm gonna share my screen so I can show what we have. But we're basically gonna be, as the network matures and as we become more decentralized, we're going to be submitting most of our proposals as flips, and we also expect many community members to submit flips too, for things we may have not considered. And all the flips are going to be submitted. I just shared my screen, so if you want to watch my stream, all the flips are going to be submitted in the onflow/flow repo. And you can see here that we have a README in this that describes what flips are. So flips are kind of meant to be for kind of like high level features that require some discussion and deliberation.
I think we lost Josh.
Well,
while he
demo
reconnects,
gods have been mean today.
while he reconnects, I can continue where he left off and just give you a high-level overview of flips. So they're meant to be ways in which we can start a discussion around changing flow, right? So flow improvement proposals. By the way, they're not, they can be created by anyone. We already have a bunch of community-created flips. This whole flip concept kicked off around FlipFest, where there was a lot of flips submitted, but that doesn't have to stop there. We actually encourage anyone to create a flip and to contribute, their ideas, their needs to make flow better. So if you have ideas, for example, Bam, a community member from Emerald City, we recently created a flip around soulbound tokens, right? So soulbound tokens are essentially NFTs that cannot be transferred, and that would imply changing or creating a new metadata standard, not metadata standard, a new interface, right? A soulbound token interface where the transfer method is not implemented, because otherwise the current hacky way to do it would be to disable the transfer method by having a precondition in the Cadence code that implements the transfer interface. So yeah, this is just one example, but if you have an idea for flow, you can definitely create a flip. And oh, there he is back again. And we already have a bunch of flips added on GitHub, so please feel empowered to join the discussion and leave your thoughts. Josh, while you were away, I was just continuing the high-level overview of flips. Feel free to kind of go over some specific ones if you.
Yeah, I sorry about that.
No problem.
So I had to join from my phone because my computer's being lame. So I can't share my screen, but yeah. So we have there's probably about 8 or 9 flips open right now. Some of them, most of them are submitted by members of the Flow team, but there are a few that were submitted by community members. So if you look in the repo in the onflow/flow repo, if you look at the pull requests tab, any of the pull requests that are labeled as flip are a flip, and we have like a template that that people follow, and you can see a lot of them. So, for example, a lot of the flips for Cadence, for like important Cadence features that we're considering for our secure Cadence and stable Cadence milestones are posted as flips right now, such as an update to how we manage capabilities in Cadence, an update to resource fields, and a few others for Cadence. Then there's also some flips involving epochs, some flips for transaction fees. That's another big one that we definitely want to get as much community involvement on as possible. And then we have a couple community ones that people have submitted. There's one that BRTech submitted about standardizing contract initialization, and then another one about NFT specific NFT standard improvements that another community member submitted. So yeah, feel free to browse those PRs, look at the flips, and leave any feedback, because we definitely want to come to decisions about flow with as much feedback from the community as possible. So yeah, any help is greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I would say the biggest call to action here is join in the discussion. These are open proposals and they're meant for community discussion. So yeah, don't feel like you can't make your voice heard. Awesome. And just to remind everyone, it's on onflow/flow, and flips are in the pull requests tagged as flip. All right. So before we go into breakout rooms, I just wanted to cover two brief topics. The first is Lagit's TypeScript support for FCL that he's been working on. Lagit, do you want to talk briefly about it?
Yeah, thank you. So really briefly, like, can I still share my screen really quickly, or?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just take then a couple of minutes then. So the story started with this little bad boy here. It's a PR on FCL.js for the docs from my team member. We just found, like, a typo in the docs. We were trying to FCL login, and then the docs were saying login lowercase. And then we try FCL login, and then nothing was working. And then I realized that I came across this before, and then it was like, oh yeah, it's log in with a capital I, right? So it turns out to be just the docs that were out of date. So we go and we fix the docs, and then this was a typical thing that happens sometimes with SCL being just JavaScript, where you lose some of the benefits from TypeScript being a deep integration with your code editor, live documentation in VS Code, um, linting for errors, and so that you can catch bugs like really quickly and early on, and not like spend time in production, wasting users' time, or spend time debugging things, right? So it initially started like this, and I was like, okay, how can I add typings to Control SCL, right? And as I'm not a TypeScript expert myself, I researched this a little bit. Last office hours, I was in the breakout room for FCL, and I talked to OHG and to also Chase, I think, where we had a discussion about this. I also posted some questions before the office hours in the JavaScript channel on Discord, asking, like, is everyone sort of facing the same problem? What are people doing, and things like this. And then this led to the situation that I was like, okay, it seems like people are all sort of trying to solve that themselves. And in the in the spirit of what was shared before, of sharing knowledge, and also like not redoing the work 10 times, and sharing best practices and stuff, I was like, okay, maybe it's best if I spend some time trying to figure this out. So I researched different ways to type a JavaScript library, and there's of course the first way, which is rewriting to TypeScript, but this would put a lot of work onto the shoulders of the maintainers of SCL, right? And you wouldn't have really a timeline for that, I guess, because we are busy doing a bunch of things. The second way is that you can add like your own little declaration files, it's called, in your code base. So let's call it fcl.d.ts, where you put your own types in there. And that's what I had been doing thus far, and I'm assuming people were doing as well. And then there is this third way, which I found out about, which is that the central repository of types npm modules, and it's called definitely typed. It's maintained by Microsoft, and you need to open a PR there to add all your typings. And once it's merged, they have a CI that will build the npm package, and everyone will be able to npm install SCL, and then npm install types on Flow SCL, and get the TypeScript going, right? And so, the 5 changes are there. It's like 1,000 lines, because then I had to type every single thing. I made sure to include also most of the documentation from the actual docs website, so you get all the docs right in your VS Code. You get links to the different parts of the code base. So let me give you. Yes, if you have any question, like just shoot, but let me just race through this. And so here I have the example where that started this whole thing. Right? So I put fcl.login, and then suddenly it lights up in red, and it says property login doesn't exist on type, on this type. Maybe you meant login with a capital I, right? And now the thing goes away, right? So and then let me just give you a bit more sneak peek here. So the types, it's quite a long file, but it's quite readable. But one that is interesting in the PR, if you want to test, is this on-flow SCL test, where you can, it's basically trying to exercise all the code of the SCL library, And here, if you over everything, you get all the documentation and the type annotations. So, for example, for the config, you get the SCL docs, you get an example, you get you get a lot of good stuff, right? Sign up, same. You can navigate between. So here, sign up says it's a convenience method that calls and is equivalent to authenticate. If I click on authenticate, I'm taken straight to the type definition of authenticate, etc., etc. And yeah, my call to action for us as a community is that I'm currently I'm kind of stuck now. I need two kinds of input. I need TypeScript reviewers that can help me with 2 questions, and I need FCL reviewers that can help me with a couple more questions because there are things that I left as to dos. And once we're happy with that PR, I already have the PR against the upstream open, so we can get that merged, and the npm package will be available for everyone. So I'm looking forward to your feedback, and yeah, your reviews if you can. If you want to chat about that in the breakout room, maybe, or in the chat, feel free to hit me up. And yeah, that's it. That's it for that. Thanks for
Awesome.
sharing the stage.
No problem. This is amazing work and very useful to everyone building on Flow. So thank you for taking the time to do it. Those types seem incredibly useful, especially with all the snippets connected to the documentation. So definitely take it to the breakout room in just a second, and maybe hammer out what last steps you need to complete those to-dos. And let's get that merged ASAP. Great work, Lagit, really.
Thank you. Thanks also to that. There was one author who opened an issue NPR on FCL right away to try to do that with the first approach by trying to lead towards type definitions and stuff. And I was also motivated by his effort and stuff. And so yeah, let's try to bring this across the finish line together.
Just awesome how open source works, right? Inspiring each other and
Exactly.
getting stuff done together. Really can't wait to use those typings because I find myself in need of them as well. So hopefully that's going to happen real soon. Last announcement, we'll keep this super brief, and then we can go into the breakout rooms. Emerald Academy. Jacob, do you want to quickly talk about Emerald Academy launching?
Sure, yeah, I will keep this very short. But hi everybody, it's me again, back to annoy you for some more stuff. But so Emerald Academy is basically like a series of educational resources and boot camps throughout time. Starting with our first boot camp that's actually going to be starting on Monday, February 21st. So it's by Emerald City. So the Emerald City DAO were the ones that did Float and the Emerald Bot and all that kind of stuff that I showed during the last office hours. But today, or now, the Educational Guild is actually doing something called Emerald Academy. And so if we actually go to academy.emeralddao.city, you'll see that this is sort of like a web page to have all of the educational content that we're putting out all in one spot. And right now it only has 2 things: a link to Emerald City itself, and bootcamp number 1, which says it's starting on February 21st. And if we were to actually click on this link, it would bring you to Discord. In the Emerald City Discord, and there's a little category here for Emerald Academy. And basically what it's going to be is a boot camp that lasts from Monday, February 21st, all the way until March 14th. So it's going to be a 3-week-long boot camp. And it's to teach everybody about an intro to Flow and Cadence. So it's completely free. There's no signing up required. All you have to do to sign up is just to be in the Emerald City Discord and watch this announcements channel. And you have to have there's no prerequisites at all. So you don't have to know anything about Flow, anything about Cadence. You don't even have to know what the blockchain is, because we all know that it can get super confusing. So it's really just an intro to Flow and Cadence. And I really encourage all of you who have wanted to get into Cadence for some time now, or even if you're just curious, just to check it out when it starts on Monday, because I'm really proud of what we've done with this. And I think it's a really interactive way to start learning the smart contract language. So just a little bit of info, and then I'll wrap this up. So it's going to be starting on Monday, and what we're going to be actually working through is the course that I've been doing for a few weeks now. So it's called Flow Zero to Jacob. Totally blame Andrea for that. He had the brilliant idea of naming it, going from it was originally Zero to Hero, and then we were like, well, Jacob is a god, which I am. So now it's Zero to Jacob. And so we're going to be working through the 5 chapters of this course, which is basically just an intro to what the blockchain is, what the Flow blockchain is specifically, and then also like some Cadence stuff. And by the end of it, we'll have like our own little NFT contract deployed. That it's not all about NFTs, of course, but that's like the most popular thing. So we're going to be learning, how to go from literally no knowledge of Cadence or Flow at all to having our own little NFT contract, and it'll be really fun. And with each day, so in each chapter, and there's some days of content, and in each day, if we scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see there's quests associated with each day. So these are like little homework assignments. You don't have to do them, but they're really beneficial to you because it helps you learn. And so whenever you do the quests, you'll basically be compiling like all these quests in like whatever like you want, like in a GitHub repo or in a node stock. And if you can submit these in quest submissions. Just submit a link, and you can see some people have already done that here. And what we're gonna do is the people in the education guild inside of Emerald City will review all of these and give you personal feedback on all of your quests. So we'll be working through a lot of this together. And if you actually complete all the quests by the end of like week 3, then you'll receive like the first ever float on mainnet, which I think is pretty cool, and maybe will act as a good incentive tool to get people learning. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. Oh, and one more thing is that while this is a bootcamp format, and it is lasting for 3 weeks, don't feel pressured at all to participate if you don't have time. This course and all this content will be available like even after the bootcamp is over. The goal really is just to put some educational resources out there to help all of you, learn and get introduced to Flow. So don't feel pressured to participate, but it's here. And during the 3 weeks, we're going to have like live workshops and all that kind of stuff that you can check out in the announcements channel. So yeah, we're going to have live workshops twice a week where we work through a lot of the stuff together. But you can totally access all this content even after it's over. So I hope that was like a short enough explanation of what Emerald Academy is.
It was great. Thanks, Jacob. And I, for one, am definitely joining it. I encourage everyone to join it as well. Cool. Thanks, Jacob. And discord.gg/Emerald City, right?
Yes. So Discord, yeah, I'll link it in the Office Hours channel.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So we've had a super packed office. We don't have too much time for breakout. If people are willing to talk for longer or to go on, we don't have to end the breakouts on the hour. So I encourage people with Cadence specific questions to go to the Cadence breakout room, which is the voice channel just under this one, and maybe Lagit and all FCL related questions and discussions to go to the SDKs and FCL breakout room, which is just under the Cadence voice channel. That way we can continue with community highlights on this main channel and then cover get to. So yeah, let's continue on. Carol, do you want to take it away with community highlights?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that last week, Cocoa Cats, for those who like the avocados and all the avocats, sold out. But then luckily Monica put up more. So definitely get your own little Fruity Gato cat. By the way, I just keep promoting this because I think it's awesome. And I love that the community was community built and there's so much great stuff. So if you guys are building awesome things like this, let us know and we'll be happy to showcase it here too. But really, the big community highlight is PR Tech. So we're going to be doing this every week or every other week where we highlight the people, like Ryan said earlier, that makes this community awesome. And it's our community rep. So if you want to become a community rep, let us know. If you would like to nominate one, also let us know. But PR Tech, why don't you talk about what you do, what your background is, the millions of other discords and community you're part of, and maybe a flip or something.
Yeah, hello. So, I'm Bjartek. Where to start? I mean, put a dime on me and I will talk for a day. So, yeah, I'm right, Jacob, right? I do.
You are, yeah, yes.
Yeah. Well, I
We
joined.
love it.
I joined the Flow ecosystem in Open World Builders 2020, so that was July 2020, and it's the first and up until now last Open World Builders. But I really hope we will have another one. That would be awesome if we could
Hint,
have
hint.
another one.
Hint
So that was
noted.
fun. Come on.
Hint noted.
Hint noted. Yeah, thank you, Carol. So so that was really fun. I started out on the technical track. So Open World Builder had a product track for product people to build Discord apps, and a technical track to learn Cadence and all of that, and build an application. So I started out with the Versus project. So that was not my ID. It was one of the product guys. So Kinger and Irrelevant were the two product guys, and they had this ID that merged together. So that became the Versus concept. And I was the guy that was interested in the problem because I like problems and I like learning to code with having a problem. So I joined them and we created Versus together, and it launched in April last year. And we're still going fast, dropping now and then. I believe we have a new drop coming this weekend, but I can't talk about it yet. But follow in Versus and you will figure it out. It's kind of different from what we normally do, but I think it's going to be pretty huge. So when Versus was done, I needed something new to do. Like I said, I need a problem. I want to solve problems. So I mean, I kind of wanted to have a name service on Flow, so there wasn't any name services then. So I started building one, and that turned into Fine, and Fine launched in December. And at the same time as Fine launched, I quit my old job in old tech and became free. So now I work for myself doing these things. So that's kind of liberating, being able to do that. And I'm also, like Carol said, a community rep in Flow Discord. I mostly stick to the developers and the Golang channel because I don't know front end much. So that's kind of my forte, and the Cadence channels, of course. I'm part of Emerald DAO. I'm one of the guild leaders of the education guild there. Also help build out Emerald ID and the the float things on the back end. So in the Cadence layers there. I have my fingers in so many pies, so I don't know where to start really. Does anybody have questions? Or yeah, if nobody has questions, I also do Overflow. Overflow started as a Go with the Flow, a tool I made during OEB because I found developing using the normal tools that we had in 2020. I found it really frustrating, to be honest. So I needed something better for myself. So I just made something together with Eric, the alchemist, who's not part of Flow much anymore. And so that's now called Overflow because somebody found out it was a lot better name, and I agree. So it's basically a tool to test things in Go. So you can test things, and I believe the USDC contract is tested using Overflow, and some other core Dapper things, and some other community things as well. All of my things are using it. I really love it. It allows you to unit test in a really concise way. It also allows you to run storylines. So you basically program in Go what you want to do. So to chain transactions and scripts together. So I use that a lot for admin tasks. Yeah. Lately I also joined the Neo team as a backend, so the Cadence developers and Neo collectibles, because the guys at Neo joined me at Find, and now I joined them in Neo. So I do Cadence for Neo as well. So life's busy, but fun.
Awesome. You're quite an inspiration to us here on the Flow team.
Thank you.
And the community at large. And thank you very much. We're very, very lucky to have you. So thank you for introducing yourself so the community knows a little bit more about you and knows who to reach out to. I think we're going to continue doing this, like I said, every week. Hopefully next week I'll invite a blue sign who's also quite inspirational and can give you guys a little bit of a overview of what they do and how they can also help you. But yeah, thank you again, Bjartek.
Yeah, I have to mention one more thing since
Yeah.
Ryan is here. So I'm a big Graphel maxi. I've been using Graphel since day one, and I'm really looking forward to Graphel V2. So hit me up when that happens, and we will make more magic.
Yeah, we should
Very soon.
invite. Yeah, Ryan, you should come back. We can talk endlessly about that, I think.
Yeah, if I have 10 seconds, we have 3 different things. We have a Flow REST API coming out, open source. We have a Docker container or a localized version that's a Docker container for Graphel, open source. We have the Graphel SDK, which is the engine that runs the V1. We have the C# SDK. And then finally, we have V2 of the actual like hosted or managed product coming out. So all of those things are going to be coming very, very soon.
Nice. Okay, let us know. Keep us updated. We'll invite you back. You can have a whole section about it.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
We had so much more stuff, but we're running out of time. There were some great questions in the office hours Slido. Maybe we'll answer them next time because I'll keep them around because there were good questions about mainnet and things like that. But we ran out, so I think we're gonna have to wrap it up, right, Andrea?
Yeah, maybe just regarding the mainnet
Mhm.
outage, we can maybe refer to the official forum announcement.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty time sensitive. So if you are looking to get more info on the mainnet issues, this is the latest that we have. Maybe next week we can talk more about it.
Yeah, we
But if you go to our forums and go to the announcement section, it'll be the first.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, this was a packed office hours. I really hope we can condense as much stuff as we did this time every week because it was pretty exciting. Hopefully, it was exciting for everyone watching. And if you have questions or if you want to, talk about things, you don't have to wait for office hours. You can always join the conversation on Discord. And of course, next week we'll have other to talk about. Which should we tease it or should we keep it secret?
We should tease it. It's fun.
Okay.
It's gonna be exciting.
All right. Well, we're going to be metadata and also a news and an AMA from the Dapper. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, and remember to follow Flow on Twitter, Telegram, and Twitch. I mean, I wouldn't be a real host if I didn't, beg for subscribers, right? So make sure to smash that bell icon and. Anyways, no. I wish everyone a great rest of the week. So since office hours are not on Friday anymore, we still have Friday, unfortunately, but tomorrow is Friday, so almost the weekend, and have a great rest of the day as well. If this is early for you. It's almost evening here. And catch you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for being a great host, Andrea. This was awesome.
Thanks, Andrea. You're the best.
Thanks, Andrea. Bye.
You're all the best. You're all the best. Bye, everyone.